Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. I regret leaving my wife for my girlfriend. I don't know if I have the right to ask her to take me back. Plus update. My wife and I separated a year and a half ago. Before that, we were together for 15 years. 15 happy years. We have 2 daughters together, 14 and 12. The last 2 years of our marriage, I thought that we have achieved all that we could achieve. Nothing changed, and we knew each other by heart. The pandemic years were hard on me mentally, being stuck at home 24/7. I didn't know that at the time. I thought I was stagnating and out of love with my wife, and that being home made me realize that, instead of the truth that I was just depressed because of being home all the time, albeit with her. When I went back to the office after 2 years, I thought my change of humor to the positive was because I wasn't with her, instead of the fact that I could actually get out again. Then I met Anna, female 32. She was one of the new people that we hired. Anna is free and happy, social and high-spirited. She took the office by storm. She was the opposite of my shy and calm wife. I remember when I first met my wife, I was the one who asked her out, and first 2 years into our relationship, she confessed to me that she had liked me for at least a year before I asked her out. With Anna, she was honest and verbal about how she had a crush on me. Like an open book, she proposed to me. I told her that I was married, and she said that we only live once, and that she just wanted to tell me how she felt no matter if I reciprocated or not. I felt strongly for her that I confessed to my wife that I was out of love with her. She asked me if there was someone else, and I said yes. That was enough for her not to try to dissuade me. I know that she was hurt and suffering in secret, and I never tried to console her because I didn't want her to know that I knew how much she was hurting. Her pride has always been her dearest possession. I moved out a week later, to Anna. I thought that I was going to be over the moon now, but something was missing even when I felt happy. I thought it was me missing my children in my home. I was used to be with my daughters every day, and now I see them only half the time. I thought it was my daughters crying and not speaking to me that hurt me. I thought it was the disappointment in their eyes that disturbed my sleep at night. My wife was my rock even in separation. She made sure that the girls didn't refuse to see me. She kept my image whole and always spoke to them about how I loved them and how good of a father I was. I knew she was hurting and I could see her missing me, but she never once lost her dignity. It was around Christmas when it hit me how much I really lost. Anna had surprised me with a trip to a warm destination because I was feeling down that this would be the first time I wouldn't celebrate with my daughters who chose their mother. Anna always understood that my blueness was because I missed my girls all the time, and she tried everything to cheer me up. The night before we took our trip, I dropped by my wife to leave my daughter's presents. My wife opened the door and she just looked so serene. I lost my balance on an ice patch and she just said, "Oops," and ran towards me to help with the gifts. I caught a whiff of her smell, and that was when it all hit me. I did miss my children and my home and my stability, but most of all, I just missed my wife. I missed her warmth, her voice, her calmness, her wit, and most of all, her smell when I buried my face in her hair and neck on Saturdays when we could sleep in. I knew that I never really stopped loving her. She wasn't the reason I went through a dark period. She was the only light that pushed me forward. I have always missed her. I have tried to explain it away because I have this new brilliant girlfriend, who is so different, who is teaching me how to be excited again. Every time, my wife's face is the first thing I thought of when I woke up in the morning and looked at the person next to me. And every time Anna kissed me and I closed my eyes to try and imagine my wife's smell, I pushed these thoughts away because I thought of how miserable my life had been these pandemic years. My wife was putting up the Christmas tree and I asked her if I could stay for a beer, and she said yes. I started crying in our kitchen, and when she asked, I told her that I was missing the girls and how strange it was not to celebrate with them. She comforted me and told me that everything will be okay and to have a nice trip. Change is never easy even if we wanted it. Now another Christmas is approaching. Anna has booked a new adventure for Christmas and I didn't even protest. For the last year, picking the children up or dropping them off has been what I look forward to just to see my wife's face. I have noticed how she has become happier and more in terms with the changes, and I envy her. I wish I could just tell her how I feel, but I don't want to disturb her healing when she's come so far. I love her like I never loved her before, but I don't deserve a moment more of her life after what I did. Now for the top comments before reading the update. My wife. Nah mate. That has been bothering me the most. Man keeps saying my wife, but what especially sent me into a rage was our kitchen. Such a small detail, but it is not your freaking kitchen anymore. You are doing the same thing now to your girlfriend you did to your wife. Infidelity is abuse. You seem unable to be alone and unable to be happy who you're with. And you are traumatizing people along the way with your selfish choices as you blithely go along your merry way choosing yourself every time. Parents don't get to be selfish at the cost of all others. You should separate from your girlfriend and work on yourself and what makes you unhappy and lack loyalty in every relationship you are in. You frankly left your wife for something shiny and new, and now that you see what you had was amazing, you want to have your cake and eat it too. Look at the damage you have caused your children. It's time to get help for yourself so that you can work to repair the damage with your girls and start setting a good example. And frankly, ending things with the woman who helped you knowingly heap that pain upon those who should have been most cherished in your life is one way you could try to show with actions that you no longer want to be the person who would hurt them so terribly. I don't think you should get back with your wife. You are not a safe partner. But there are a lot of steps you could take to make amends and prove you know the hurt you caused and the trauma you caused. Why not try to take those steps instead of staying with this other toxic woman who helped you destroy your family? It's shameful on both your parts. You should end it and work on yourself. It's honestly the least you can do. Like the absolute bare minimum. And taking trips on Christmas instead of seeing your kids. Holy smokes. I know your kids don't want to stay with you, but I bet if you got rid of the side piece, you could at least visit them. You chose a woman who participated in breaking up a family over your own kids. And you continue to do so. Get it together. Even if his ex-wife takes him back, it won't be the same. They won't have what they used to have together. Ever. There is no turning back the clock here. You took her trust and shattered it. If she ever does let you back into her life, which is doubtful, you still won't be trusted. There won't be the same intimacy, the same trust, the same reliance on you as a partner, etc. Stop pining after a past life you can't return to and start living this one. I hope she doesn't take him back. I hope she finds someone who will put her on a pedestal. Bro, your wife sounds like a stunner, classy, and an amazing lady. You don't deserve her after everything you did. But now you've manifested the same problem with someone else. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Go to therapy or something maybe. You need to figure out the root cause of this. Yeah, OP wrote this like he's writing some romantic movie where in the end, he and his wife have a cute moment when he slips on ice. And in the end, she takes him back because he confesses he still loves her. The reality is, he's just like any other cheater. He puts the responsibility for his happiness on whoever he happens to be in love with at the time. His ex-wife deserves better. Exactly. His new girlfriend is his manic pixie dream girl who gave 0 Fs about him being married with kids and a co-worker. And now for the update. I have now broken up with Anna. I feel such a weight lifting. Maybe it is not a nice thing to do, breaking up with someone before the holidays, but I needed this. For my own sake, but even for Anna. She doesn't deserve my resentment towards her, since I'm the only one to blame for breaking up my marriage. But I can't help but resent her. I can't help but think I don't want someone like her around my daughters. I hope she will be fine and I wish her luck. Edit. Me, I blame nobody but myself for breaking up my marriage. The average comment, so are you saying Anna is the one to blame for breaking up your marriage? I don't know why my comments are being deleted. Probably offended one of the mods. So I will leave this app. I'm not going to bother my wife. I probably need to be alone while trying to sort out my feelings and mental issues. I'm just hoping this would make my girls accept me in my home as their second. I heard about Reddit on a podcast. I thought the quality would be better than this. But I made good connections with some people who have had battled depression. So I'm taking this with a grain of salt, and I'm grateful for those who listen to me. Have a great life, everyone. She'll be perfectly fine. She'll take her bright and brilliant self and help some other jerk mess up his marriage. I can't help but think I don't want someone like her around my daughters. Spoiler alert, you are someone like her. Nah, he is even worse. Yeah, she didn't break his marriage vow since she didn't even make it in the first place. Should she have been flirting with him? No, but OP should have been a decent enough human to remember his loving wife and kids and put a stop to it. You're the one who screwed over your kid's mom and ruined the marriage / disrupted their childhood, but Anna is the bad influence. Sure, dude. Don't you know, Anna forced him to cheat with her. He is the victim here. He still doesn't get it, even after all the thousands of comments on the last post. Right, then blames Anna and is disappointed with the people on Reddit. Did he think people were going to clap him on the back and say, "We feel you, man, it was the depression. It's not your fault. We all love you here." The lack of self-awareness and complete ineptitude to do any self-searching is astounding. It seems you do a lot of things for my own sake. I think this is why you are in this situation. Until you grow enough to actually put someone else's needs above your impulses, it is likely things won't get better for you. Please go to therapy now. Learn how to heal the ones you love that you caused pain doing things for your own sake. This is so true. To be honest, doesn't feel like he cared much about hurting his wife. He could have easily had a conversation with her about how he's been feeling and tried to work it out. Now he's just sad because he misses having a family waiting for him when he's back home. He misses his wife, who has been the most graceful person despite his behavior. It's all about him. He doesn't want someone like Anna around his daughters. Makes me wonder why he wants someone like his own self around them. He left a marriage of 15 years for a random woman he met at work. Lol. No genuine remorse except for self-pity. Wow. Now for the last story. My partner, male 27, left because I told him it bothers me that my ex-boyfriend doesn't acknowledge my existence. I, female 24, am in a 2-year relationship, living together with my partner in a country that's foreign to us both. We're studying together and have known each other for almost 5 years now. Almost 3 years ago, I was in a relationship with someone else before I started seeing my current partner, and we were on good terms for more than a year after we broke up. Like, we were friendly and would hang out platonically, and he was in a relationship too. I haven't seen him in a long time and we kind of lost contact, which is completely natural and okay with me. But I recently saw him for the first time in a while, since we have some events in common. Before, he would have a conversation with me or at least say hi. But now he doesn't do that anymore, and I was confused to why he would act that way. My current boyfriend has asked me about it, and I told him my ex has been weird lately, but didn't think of it too much and didn't say anything else to my current boyfriend. Yesterday we had another event we were both attending, and I was talking to a close friend of mine who is also still friends with my ex, and he would still not acknowledge my presence or say anything, which started to bother me. The next morning, I told my boyfriend that it kind of bothers me that he doesn't acknowledge my presence, and continued explaining that it worries me because I know people in his circle don't like me, and I'm worried they are spreading rumors or something like that. I have no evidence of anything like that, just something that worried me. My partner got upset over me telling him, has mood swings all day, meaning he was acting normal, then got angry again, then acted all normal again. Until finally he was dropping me off somewhere and heading home, and he said I should break up with him before I say something like that. When I got home, most of his things were packed, and he left without saying where he was going. Just said, good luck in life, and have fun with your ex. Just to clarify, I only brought up this concern once, not repeatedly. I want to feel like I can share my thoughts with my partner, and kept trying to clarify to him that this wasn't because I miss my ex, and I'm not looking to reconnect with him. It just felt weird and uncomfortable to be in that situation, especially when I don't know if I did anything wrong. It's not unusual for my partner to give an exaggerated reaction, but this feels a bit excessive. Any input would be helpful. Now for the advice. Girl, no, you don't need to share every thought that passes through with your partner. That's not even the problem. I don't mind hearing my partner's thoughts. It's that she's still into her ex, and it's so obvious. And meh, she should not even be keeping those thoughts at all. No guy wants to be with a girl who is so hung up with an ex like that. Doesn't matter how much mental gymnastics you do to explain it away. If you presented all your thoughts to your boyfriend in the way you presented them here, I can understand his reaction. Your post repeatedly states, my ex this, my ex that, my ex isn't paying attention to me. I'm friends with some exes, and the ex part doesn't come into it. It's friend first. My friend this, my friend that, etc. Any reactions from them and how I receive them are based purely on a friend level and treated no differently from any other friend. They're a friend who did a specific action, the ex doesn't come into it. To your now ex-boyfriend, it's going to sound like you're hung up on your ex and his behavior patterns towards you. In fact, it really does look like that's the case. When you break up with someone but end up being friends, that's a friendship that needs foundations of, well, friendship. In your case, you hadn't seen this guy for a long time, so there wasn't really a friendship, he's still just your ex. And you see him again and start to obsess about his responses, which you feed back to your boyfriend. Even if it's not true, it's going to come across to your boyfriend that you are obsessing over him, and his reactions to you can make or break a night out. You weren't present in your current real relationship, and were too concerned about your previous one. If I was the boyfriend, it's possible I'd make the same move. Doesn't matter if we had a lovely night as a couple, it's all fallen apart because of how an ex did or didn't react towards you. You're completely right, and I understand that it seemed that way, and of course I had given this person a thought, otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it. But if the fact I used the word ex on the post the thing that made it worse, I was using him name, and just used the word ex for the sake of explaining the situation. And I think he's aware that I consider him a friend. Hopefully I'm not reading into this advice wrong. You haven't spoken to your ex in years. Anything he hoes that doesn't directly affect you should be ignored. He ignores you, fine, because you're not friends and he isn't important to your life. The fact that you're worried about his attention screams you're not over him. Look inward. Figure out why you need his attention and fix it. Now you got 2 ex-boyfriends there. I guess that's true. It's so recent, so I don't know what he's actually going to do, hence why I wrote current partner. Should I edit it to X to make it clearer? You may as well get used to writing it out, I guess. Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update. My husband convinced me to get a job at his company, hoping it would stop him from cheating. Original post. So, my husband, male 36, and I, female 35, are high school sweethearts. We got pregnant in high school, dated for a few years after we had our baby, and decided we did want to get married. Through every single up and down, we were there for one another. I honestly didn't think we could have a more perfect relationship, and it's something I have been so proud about most of my life. About 4 months ago, my husband asked me to get a job at his company. Before this, I had just been working part-time jobs because we didn't really need the money since we weren't financially responsible for a child anymore. However, we agreed the extra money would be lovely to go towards our family trip funds, something we both and our son add to as often as possible. Our hope being to take a family vacation across Europe for a few months. And we are trying to make it happen sooner than later because our son is recently married. We want them to be able to still go on the trip without worrying about a new baby. Once I got the job, I thought it was such a great decision. I was making quite a bit of extra money and seeing my husband so much more. Well, a couple weeks ago, one of his co-workers approached me and asked how I could be so cool with the ongoing situation. I had no idea what she was talking about. So, I asked for more details, and she told me my husband and one of his co-workers had been having an affair for over a year. Well, honestly, I trust my husband more than this woman I just met, so I told him about it that night, and he immediately broke down. He told me he was so sorry, but it was true. He said I'm still the love of his life, but he needs some excitement outside of our relationship. He told me he had been feeling so guilty about it, so he asked me to start working there, hoping it would make him want to cheat less. But it's actually just caused them to sneak around more and find their relationship even hotter. I don't know what to do. I'm so humiliated. I feel like I should stick this out because we have been together so long, and I know it would devastate our son. But I don't think I can move on from this. He didn't even apologize, just told me every man needs something new and exciting in a long-term relationship, and that it means nothing. Well, it certainly feels like something. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. Getting you to work there and then continue to sneak around is so sad and sadistic. I'm so sorry. No one deserves that. I really appreciate the kind words. I'm trying really hard to accept and move on to the next steps. First and foremost, I'm very sorry this happened. Secondly, the hard, sad fact you need to realize is that he just made you, the love of his life, a prop in his cheating fantasy. Think about that. But it's actually just caused them to sneak around more and find their relationship even hotter. This is not okay. The absolute audacity of his actions have my blood boiling for you. Hard choices and decisions are at your feet. I hope you find the strength to do what is in your and your son's best interest. I hope you have friends and family you can depend on to help you through. I hope, truly, that you see your value in this world is far, far greater than a prop in a cheating fantasy. Good luck, OP. Your husband is scum and used you working there to make your humiliation hotter for him and a fair partner. Divorce now. Don't fudge around thinking he will change because he won't. He will only hide it more, then you'll find out and be more hurt. You're absolutely right. It just hurts so bad. I'm just in shock. Sounds like a trip to HR is needed. What the hell is wrong with him? Oh hun, no. I'm so sorry you're going through this. I'm gonna be real blunt here. He wants to have his cake and eat it too. He is lying. Not every man needs that excitement in a long-term relationship. He has been lying and deceiving you for a year. Is he using protection? If not, then he's also playing with your health. I don't like jumping on the leave him train. But let's be real, he is not sorry for hurting and humiliating you. He shows no remorse and doesn't want to stop. Obviously, he and his affair partner are more important to him than you. He made you come work for a company where people know about his cheating. He's made you their laughing stock. I don't even want to imagine what he says about you behind your back. He is obviously expecting you to sit by and watch. He doesn't think you can exist without him and thus doesn't have to fear any consequences. He is completely underestimating you and what you are capable of. No loving spouse would show this much disrespect. Because when you truly love someone, you do respect them. And you don't hurt them this monumentally. He's gaslighting you into thinking this is normal. It's not. Seek legal advice, look for counseling, and talk to friends and family. Do not let him minimize this betrayal and with that your feelings. Your reply means so much to me. Thank you. I know I need to take this step. I'm very scared and heartbroken, but I know I need to do it. Now for the first update. Thank you everyone for the kind words and support. I also got many messages that were so sweet. It has been really helpful to read everyone's advice. I was trying to figure out the best way to tell our son. I wanted to sit him down and let him know that my husband and I are getting a divorce. I bought the things to make his favorite meal and invited him over for dinner. Well, a couple hours ago, he called me and was extremely upset. He said that my husband told him I cheated and we were getting a divorce. He begged my son not to tell me, as it would just cause further problems. But my son wanted to know how I could do that to Dad and couldn't stay silent. I told him what actually happened over the phone, and he started crying. I am absolutely furious that my husband put my son through that. Even though he's an adult, it's still a very upsetting topic, and it should have been handled with care, not lies. I found a great divorce lawyer with my friend's help, and I'm getting the ball rolling immediately. His mistress also messaged me after she found out I knew. She said I should be grateful that my husband and I had a good marriage while we did, but she would be taking my place now. I ignored her message and blocked her. I have an amazing support system in place and will be moving out later today. I'm staying with my friend and his wife until I can find a place of my own. I told my husband I was divorcing him and moving out. He broke down and asked how I could do this to our family. He said I'm the one making the decision to end it, and I should be ashamed I would throw away our marriage. He said he couldn't believe I would throw in the towel so quickly. I told him to get lost and go cry to his mistress. So now you're all caught up. If any more happens, I might update again. Thank you all again for your kind words and support. You guys have made this a little easier. Second update. So I read everyone's comments about reporting my husband and his mistress to HR, and also sleeping with his boss. I did report them to HR, but unfortunately there isn't anything they can really do because there's not actually any proof. I showed them the texts, but they said unless I had proof of them committing acts on work property, nothing could be done. On one bright side, I guess, I and his mistress found out there had been a lot of others, including some older than her. His oldest affair had been going on for over 5 years. It was just a friends with benefits type situation. It was one of the moms I was on the PTA with. Both married and just looking for hookups apparently. Well, his mistress is just devastated. She cannot believe he could possibly do this to her. She actually reached out to me asking for advice on how to handle everything. Once she realized I blocked her, she had one of our coworkers come and ask me. As for my job goes, I actually really love it. Screw both of them, I'm keeping it. I'm good at it and I enjoy it. I make a livable wage from it. HR did tell me they would transfer me to a different branch, so I'm actually in the process of moving. Not just out of my ex's and I's house, but pretty far away. My ex begged me for a second chance, to honor my vows and the commitment I made. He got very upset when I brought up the fact that he didn't keep his vows. He told me that first and foremost, loyalty should come first. That no matter the mistake, I should stand by his side. I looked at him and told him to miss my freaking butt. That is my favorite thing to come out of this so far. My son believed me 100% without even showing him the messages from the mistress. He cut contact with his dad. Also, to clear up some confusion, my son is 20. He met his girlfriend the first year of college and they got married 2 months ago. Very recent, and part of the reason I was so concerned about the news of his dad and I. So all in all, I am moving and starting over. And I have full support from everyone except my parents, who think I should stay and stick it out. Thank you so much to everyone who sent kind words and encouragement. You truly made a hard time a little easier. I'm sorry, but this is hilarious. His mistress, who knew she was a side piece, cannot believe he would cheat on her. The woman he was using to cheat on his wife. This is absolute peak irony, and I'm going to frame this post. Thank you so much for this update. How possibly could this man, who is cheating on his wife, also cheat on his mistress? OP had the right to expect loyalty from her husband. I have no idea why the mistress or the husband thought they had the right to anything. And then he got mad at OP and told her to remember her vows. Apparently they had a non-traditional wedding, where vows included hooking up with half the company. He didn't try to get her to work with him to get him to stop cheating. He got her to work with him to make the cheating hotter. I also think it's hilarious that the woman he was cheating with felt cheated on once she found out about others. Why do people who get cheated on with act all surprised when they themselves get cheated on? It's a tale as old as time. If he'll cheat with you, then he'll cheat on you. That's what my mom's first husband did. When she found out about the other woman and told him to stop seeing her, he refused and said, "You'd like her if you just got to know her." Suffice to say, divorce quickly followed. My mom found out years later that he had left his mistress for another woman, and then left her for another woman. By the time he died, I think he was on wife number 5. When you're the other woman, don't be surprised when there's another woman. The husband is a scumbag for many reasons, but especially for lying to his son about how OP was cheating, and not him. For real. It's bad enough to cheat, but to play the victim and slander the partner you cheated on is just on a different level. Like, you're just trash. Now for the last story. My wife, 30 female, kinda cheated on me, 30 male, depending on your definition. My wife and I have been married for 4 years. Some good days, some bad in that time frame. For the past year or so, things have been rough. My wife sat me down a year ago and told me I work all of the time and don't give her enough attention. To her defense, I do work a lot. That said, about a year ago when she sat me down and told me that, I really took it to heart and cut back my hours. I told her I loved her and my job is meaningless without her, and I genuinely have stuck to my more lax work schedule for this past year. There may be a day here and there where I'm working late, but it is not the norm, and I've made sure of it. I truly did my best to be present every single day when we both were home. I would always make time to chat with her, help with or cook dinner, and do the dishes. Would tell her how beautiful she is, and that I love her, because I didn't want her to feel like I was dismissive towards her or not giving her time and attention. I can confidently say I'm a pretty good husband. Well, in comes the crap storm. She's been very dismissive towards me, so I had to do something I never thought I'd ever do as a married man, and I read her text messages. I did this only after having a very cool, calm, and collected discussion as to how she is feeling in our marriage. Things were off, like way off. She was defensive of the question, so I knew something was up. I'm not proud of my intrusion of her privacy, but I found out she has been planning to have an affair with an older man, 46. They have already kissed on a few occasions, been on a date or two, and are generally having an emotional affair. But the freaking text messages they sent, damn. Talking about some crazy ex-ting. Not necessarily exchanging nudes, but just what they want to do in bed with one another. It was hard to read. Confronted her and she lied. Confronted her again and she lied again. I took photos of the conversation because I had a feeling there would be denial, and even then, she said she would never actually take it any further than playful texting. She said she found solace in this guy because he gave her the attention I apparently did not. She already kissed the dude. I don't even want to relive those text messages, but needless to say, they were all sorts and kinds of lust-fueled. For about a solid month, the ex-talk has been going on with this chump. Forgot to mention, Mr. Chump is also married, seems like a good guy. I feel like an idiot. I'm embarrassed and oddly more heartbroken than angry. I gave this girl every bit of gas I had in the tank, and she sure as heck let me know it was not enough. What do y'all think? Do I just need to cut the cord as fast as humanly possible? Do I rip it off like a band-aid? I don't think this is salvageable, so I'm really just looking for advice on the next steps. Now for the advice. Dude, she is having an affair. And she's a liar. If she has genuine cause for being unhappy, then she has an excuse to leave. There is no excuse for cheating. Save the photos. Talk to a lawyer. If your state has a one-party law regarding recording others, then hit record on your phone, put everything on the table and let her hang herself. Thanks for the reassurance. I agree. If I put myself in her shoes and I felt I wasn't getting the time or attention I needed, I would have communicated my butt off, offered to go to therapy, literally exhaust every option. Then, and only then, would I consider a divorce. Not cheating. Finally, someone here who has the brains and courage to stand up and leave. It is refreshing to see. I understand coming to post for reassurance that you're not overreacting, and I am glad that once you saw that people agreed, that you're going to take action and do what is best. Thank you so much for posting this. Love is hard. Every bone in my body wants a reason to stay, but I know I can't. Quick like a band-aid. Will hurt for a while, but the quicker you do it, the quicker it will end. Amen. Thank you. Divorce lawyer, here I come. This is gonna hurt like hell. I agree. You confronted her and she's still doing it. It's done. And she didn't kind of cheat, she cheated and still is cheating. Share your proof with the guy's wife. It's the right thing to do. Research found that the kiss is the last boundary that once crossed leads to hookups at the first chance. Therefore, there is no such thing as it was just a meaningless kiss. Send the text messages to affair partner's wife. Get a lawyer. Use Grey Rock and 180 method to interact with her until you can physically separate. And wife kinda cheated, depending on your definition. Intercourse is not the definition of cheating. You've already witnessed the sickening depths of the emotional affair. Kissing is one of, if not, the most intimate physical acts two people can share. Your wife has fully cheated on you physically and emotionally by any definition. Good luck.